Hi, Pamina. We're back at this
Hello.
again.
Yes.
Hey, you guys. This is so fun to have you back with us for yet another live. I was just telling Pamina that she's super hilarious. It's always fun to have her with me because I really just feel like we're hanging out. We're laughing a lot, and it's amazing.
Yes.
And today, you guys, we're going to be talking about our favorite books, movies, YouTube channels. We're even going to talk a little bit about podcast series. So many amazing resources to learn English. And I'm going to try to go ahead and write them in the comments, pop it up when we talk about a thing so that way you guys can know what we're talking about. And then I'll try after the live as well to link it in. So, hey, you guys, Lucas, Clayton, Marika, Milagros, Rosario, Karen, Calvin. This is super fun. We're so
Hello,
glad. Juan
everybody.
Pablo. Hey, welcome. Hello Talk is a great app. I'm going to be partnering with them this week and
Oh,
Sunday
very
for
nice.
another live, so they'll be super fun.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so it's freezing here today. I went outside for a walk and it was 28 degrees Fahrenheit,
Oh my
minus
God,
2
cold.
Celsius.
Cold,
So
cold.
cold, so cold.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cold in New York too. I just like it's so freezing and I have like five blankets and I have a
Oh,
Snuggie too.
no way.
Which like
What is
why
a
is everybody
Snuggie for
upset
people
about
that
Snuggies?
don't know?
I literally so for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, I can't bring it now. It's like it's huge. But a Snuggie is like something that people in America don't buy because it's embarrassing. But I bought it, and it's like a blanket, but you put your hands through it. And I just felt like, you know what? I am cold, and I can't work with a blanket that keeps, falling off. So I bought a
Yeah.
Snuggie, and literally like those people in the commercials at the campfire, like
That's
got so
amazing.
excited.
That's hilarious. Why don't you do a post about that on your Instagram, Pamina? That would
I will
be
totally like be in my Snuggie. I'll be like, listen, this is like the best. Like, I'm a
yes.
'90s kid, so I lived on the Snuggie commercial. I'm sure you remember the
Yeah.
Snuggie commercial, and
Everything comes back around. Everything, like
totally.
fashion
And I
wise, comes
remember
back.
like my dad would be like, who's gonna buy that? Like a Snuggie? Who's gonna buy the Snuggie? I'm like, listen, watch me in like 15 years. It's gonna be me.
So funny. So
Right.
funny.
But yes,
I
we are
love
here.
that.
We have a goal for today. So I'm
Yes,
I'm
you
gonna stop
guys.
talking about it.
Let's get started. Hi, Vinny. Hi,
Is that
Sada.
my Vinny?
It's your Vinny.
Oh, Vinny,
Yes.
hi.
Yes.
He got mad at me because I didn't remind him of like our live today.
Oh, well, he's on. Welcome. That's amazing.
He
He
was like,
made
"You
it.
didn't remind me." I'm like, "I'm sorry. I have like 20 things happening."
Too funny. Too funny. Girl, I thought we could start with Netflix series because that's
Yes.
always fun. What do you
Oh my
think?
God, yes. I'm like all over Netflix. But
And I'm,
okay,
yeah.
let's start.
Yeah. So, you guys, our idea is just to talk about our favorite shows. And then when it comes to books and that, I do have books at different levels that I want to recommend. You have YouTube channels as well for different levels. I have some
Yeah.
YouTube learning channels that are great. So, let's go ahead, you guys. Get started. So, Pamina, what is one of your favorite series on Netflix?
Okay, so I have a bunch because I just watch
Yes.
Netflix all the time. My top
Yes.
top favorite, which I
Uh
tell
huh.
everyone, is Breaking Bad.
Okay. What is
My
that
top
about?
top favorite. Oh my goodness. So Vinny's probably like rolling his eyes. So Breaking Bad is basically a crime drama.
Mm hmm.
It's super famous in the United States. It's about a high school teacher. He's a high school chemistry teacher, and he gets involved in drug crimes so that he can
Okay.
support his family because he ends up getting cancer. So it's like a
Okay.
super crazy drama series, crime, and it's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is not familiar, but I'm pretty sure they have it also in other countries too. It's just kind of maybe translated or dubbed, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
very especially for intermediate to advanced levels, it's really
Yeah.
good to watch with subtitles. Don't worry about watching with subtitles. It's better to watch with subtitles
Yes.
because it's especially if you're interested in action, drama, crime.
Totally.
You know, if you watch series like El Chapo and stuff like that, like you'll definitely like this. And
Yes.
yeah, if you're the kind of person who yells at the TV like me, like you'll love it.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. So Clayton says he doesn't know it, but I think he knows The Walking Dead. And then Juan says he's watching Brooklyn 99 these days. It's fun to
okay.
hear what you guys are watching too. So this
Yes.
is cool.
Yes.
You guys, one of my favorites, and it's pretty recent. I'm writing it in the chat. It's called The Queen's Gambit. Have you guys
I
watched
have
that?
not seen it.
Oh
Everybody's
my
talking
gosh.
about it.
So I watched it in like 2 days with Calvin. We binge watched it. So if you binge watch something, that means you watch it really fast, episode after episode. And it's about a girl who is orphaned, and she learns to play chess from the janitor of the boarding school, like in the basement. But she's a genius. But they're giving out these like vitamins every day to calm the kids, but they're actually like tranquilizers. So she becomes an addict at kind of at the same time, but from a young kid, like legit. So it's kind of like a mix of her messy life as an addict and then her genius abilities to play chess. She travels all over the world. She ends up getting adopted. And so it like talks about her and her mom and her dad as well. And it's just a really interesting show, really easy to watch. I never thought I'd be interested in a chess show, but I loved it.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely will be looking that up.
Yeah,
The next
for
one that
sure.
I have, which is so funny, and I'm going to have to spell it for you.
Okay, spell it out. I'm ready.
So this one is called Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I saw a few of that. Yes, it was hilarious. Okay, but you need to spell it out still.
Yeah. So this is Schitt and then apostrophe S. Creek, right? Okay. So Schitt's Creek. So I don't know if anybody, I cannot see the comments. So I don't know if anyone.
Go up to comments on your side. Go to comments. You should be able to see it up on the side.
I see chat and I see.
Oh, you don't see comments? Like group one? Because you see private chat on the side. You should be able to see comments.
No, I don't see it. But it's okay. If I don't want to start clicking because I'm going to like.
Okay.
Hold on.
Israel.
No. But
yes, Jane the Virgin, Marika said. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So Schitt's Creek is so funny, and it's like very, I don't know how you would describe, because I forget where are they coming from, California or from, because the kind of humor is just so, it's like super sarcastic, and the characters are so funny and unique. Yeah. And basically what it's about is it's this family who is super rich, and then I think they end up going bankrupt.
Yes,
and there's only
all their money.
They lose all their money, and then there's this one town that the father bought as a joke when his son was younger, and they actually have to move to that town and live in a motel, which is, I guess, a smaller version of a hotel, right? And it's kind of more laid back. It's a motel is more. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with motels, but I think they're just smaller versions of hotels. Yeah. But the motel that they're at is not a very enjoyable place to stay. It's
a dump, basically. It's terrible,
yes,
right?
Yeah. But it's just so funny. And if you want to practice your English skills, your speaking, your listening with understanding like American humor and American like sarcasm and American comedy, that's a really good show to watch, because it's like typical sarcasm, because we use a lot of sarcasm, I think, depending on the region that you're in. For example, you know, in New York, for everybody who doesn't know where I'm from New York, we use sarcasm in everything, and the jokes, extreme sarcasm. So, you know, this show I think is very good to kind of understand how that works.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. Oh, Calvin said maybe because you're on your cell phone instead of your computer, you can't see the comments.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. We're gonna. You know the thing. I need like a better webcam for my laptop, and then I can.
Yeah, then you can go live on your laptop. Yes. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about, it's very new on Netflix. It's called Firefly Lane. I have one episode left. So there's 10 episodes, and it's with two very famous American actresses, Sarah Chalke and Katherine Heigl. Oh, okay. And so they're friends like since they were 10. And so the show shows their friendship does back flashes. So back flashes when you go to the past, and then so it does back flashes from when they were little kids, showing key moments in their life. Then it does it from when they were in their 20s, and then present, and then future. So it's kind of a lot to take in, but it's such a great story. Just the story that's told, you really see the beauty of friendship between these two women. I feel like they do such a fabulous job, and they deal with real life things, you know, things that happen. They don't shy away from the ugliness that there is sometimes in life. So that is a show that I would like to recommend for you guys.
Yes, that sounds very good. I'm real, you know, my issue is that I watch a show and then I watch it like 20 times because I'm like, oh, I just love this show. Let me just stick with it for the next 5 years.
I've done that with Friends. And you guys, so I have a whole Netflix video on my YouTube channel, but I didn't want to talk about the same shows, so I will not talk about any of those shows in this live. They're all new shows that I like.
Oh my God, I might check that out because I don't know about new. I literally, everybody who asks me in general I just give them the same list because that's just the same stuff I watch.
Yeah, totally,
but,
totally.
Yeah, these are totally new shows that I'm not too familiar with. So
good. That's good. You got a whole new list. Friends, is that your next one?
So, piggybacking on what you said. So when we say piggybacking, right, it's kind of following up to what someone said.
Yes.
With Friends is super great for ESL learners.
Oh my
super
gosh.
Great.
Yes.
A lot of phrasal verbs, a lot of expressions in so many different contexts. You know, if you're dealing with friends, if you're dealing with someone you're dating, if you're dealing with everyday situations, Friends is super great. I also have the show Daxter.
Yeah, I've never watched Daxter, but I've heard about it, and I feel like I've seen it on Netflix. Juan made a comment like, I'll need another life to watch all these series. And it's true because there are so many amazing American series and TV shows and movies. So one at a time.
Exactly. Yes. So Daxter is basically about a serial killer who kills people who do bad things.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you know, a twisted thing, and it's interesting, you know. Once you get into the later seasons, it's kind of like, you know, you try to keep up with it, but the first few seasons are really good. And if you want to kind of practice your English skills, you know, that's a good show to use. And it takes place in Miami, Florida. So the specific expressions and stuff, and you'll see a lot of also Cuban influence and Venezuelan influence. So mostly Cuban in the show. But so it's interesting because you get a mix of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's cool. One of the ones that I'm going to recommend next, which I cannot remember if you spell it with a K or a C, but I'm just going to do it with a C. And it's called Cobra Kai. So way back in the day, there were these famous films, 3 of them, called The Karate Kid. Are you familiar with the Karate Kid movies?
Of course.
Yeah, so they're super famous. So then they took this show 20 years later. Now it's like the same characters from that show from those movies 20 years ago, put it into a show. They have their own karate dojos. There's competition. This show makes me want to like go get my black belt or something in karate because the fighting is like amazing. I'm like, this is incredible. And they're like these high school kids, but I really like the show. So it was first on YouTube. So me and Calvin had seen the first 2 seasons on YouTube, and then we saw that it got moved to Netflix. So we watched the 3rd season in a couple days because it was so good. They always leave you hanging, which means like they leave you wanting to know what happens. And so then you go to the next episode, which leads you to binge watching, which we went over that word. It's when you watch episode after episode.
Exactly.
So yes, that is a great show.
Right. Oh, I see Firefly Lane here. Then there's also House of Cards, which, you know, that's kind of, if you like political stuff, I
have not seen House of Cards. What is it about?
Yeah, my parents like it. It's just kind of, you know, about climbing up the political ladder.
Okay.
And it's just that kind of thing. So, you know, some people are interested in that kind of stuff. It's a good show. Show. Another one too is Mad Men, which is about, you know, climbing up the ladder of the advertising industry during the 1950s, I think.
Okay.
So it kind of takes you back to the United States during the 1950s era. And because when you're learning a language, it's also important to learn about the culture. That is a good show to watch, because then it kind of gives you a visual background of the history of the United States, and then also the language and how that kind of
totally
comes together.
Good. That's really good. Hey, Lucas. Lucas popped in. Oh, Israel said Cobra Kai is so famous here. Have you seen it, Israel? Have you seen that show? You guys, I don't know if you know, but on both YouTube and Netflix, you have the possibility to speed up or slow down the audio, which is great for language learners because sometimes they speak so fast on shows and you're like, what's going on? Obviously, it's maybe not as like clear. It's a little more slow-mo, like slow motion, but it's such a great thing to have that possibility. I always recommend my students to watch with subtitles in the language they're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm watching things in French with French subtitles. Sometimes they don't match up perfectly, the subtitles, so it's hard, but there's at least, 2 ways to learn how to say something. And then if I'm really lost, which sometimes I'm completely lost in French, I'll just pause it, I'll go back, and then I'll replay it in English, that short scene. So that's just a little tip for you guys. Okay, I'm going to talk about, I have 3 more on my list, but I don't want to make this live 3 hours. So maybe I'll just talk about 1 more and then we can move on to movies. So, I saw Marika had put on Dead to Me, which is, you guys, a really funny show. Okay, so it's called Dead to Me. It's with Christina Applegate, and she's also a super famous American actress.
Right.
And so she loses her husband in a hit and run. So that means somebody hit him with their car and they left and they didn't report it. So she's trying to find out who killed her husband, and she goes to a grief support group trying to heal. And she meets this woman there, Judy, and they become really good friends. But what she doesn't know, that Judy is the one who killed her husband.
Right.
But Judy knows that it was her, So Judy finds out, but she doesn't tell her because she's so afraid. She feels terrible. And so it's a lot of just humor mixed in with drama and then also friendship as well. So I really liked that show. Yeah.
Yes, everybody check out these shows on Netflix.
Yes.
Do you have a VPN, or do you don't have a VPN?
I don't think we have a VPN. I'm not sure. So there's a question
though.
though.
I see the comments.
Oh, yay! That's like life-changing when you can see the comments and interact. Good.
Yes.
So Sebastian, hello, asked, do you recommend just watching and reading the subtitles, or do you recommend another exercise to learn? So, that, and then another exercise with like movies or films, YouTube channels. Another thing I tell people to do is shadowing. So you're listening with your headphones, but then you're reading out loud what the people are saying. So it's a great way to practice your spoken English as well as your comprehension. Do you have any other little tips with that?
Yeah, when I tell my students, to do with shows and movies is for the first 5 minutes, jot down about 5 to 10 different phrasal verbs or vocabulary verbs that are words that are new to you, or as many as you can. And then after the 5 minutes, just keep watching the show. And when you're done, take the new vocabulary words and phrasal verbs and put them into either youglish.com, and then watch and see the way that these words are used, and then you can incorporate them into your daily speech. So youglish.com. I don't know if you can type it because it's
how do you spell it?
So it's just UYOU and then GLISH and then .com.
Okay, yes.
So that there you can put a word. I think you can also try to put a phrasal verb when you're done, but only do that for 5 minutes where you're writing down vocabulary and phrasal verbs. So
that's really a great tip, Pamina. Paula, I'm sorry we're talking a little too fast. We can try to slow it down.
Slow it down.
We can try. When I get excited about something, I start talking fast.
Yeah.
So try to stay slow. And hi, Paolo. We're glad you guys are here.
Hello, everybody.
So we just went over a ton of Netflix series. Now we're going to move into movies. So we're going to start talking about some of our favorite movies. And then after movies, we'll go into books. So we're so glad you guys are here. It's so fun. If you have a favorite series or movie that you want to type in the chat, you're so welcome to do that, you guys. So movies, have you seen The White Tiger?
No,
The
but
Indian
I see
movie?
it advertised everywhere, and I don't know what
Yes.
it is.
Okay, I'll tell you about it. So, The White Tiger, me and Calvin, I was a little hesitant to watch it because it looked intense in the preview, but it was really enlightening for me. So, I've been to India, I've seen some of the realities with the caste system and just the injustice, you know? And so this movie talks about an Indian man who's, you know, lower class, but he uses his wit, his like intelligence to work for a really rich family and break out of that poverty. It's by scheming, so he's doing things he shouldn't do in the movie, but he feels like it's the only way for survival. So he does it. So I don't want to give the movie away, but I thought it was brilliant. I really liked it.
And is this an American movie or is it?
I think, I'm not sure actually if it's American or Indian, but it's on Netflix. It's recent. It was good.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, aside from American movies that we're suggesting, oh my God, Indian movies are really good.
Yeah,
there are so many Indian movies that are so good. I took Indian, I took a Southeast Asian literature film class when I was in college. And I just like started binge watching all the Indian movies. They're really good.
No, I've seen a ton of them as well.
Yeah.
It's really good. What about a favorite movie of yours?
So I have like all my favorite movies are really old. Okay. Just so everybody knows. These are classic American movies. And I think, you know, for my students, I always say the classics are important because, you know, you're getting to know the culture and classics in books and classics in movies are really important. So I have so many. So for example, let's talk about Pulp Fiction because I think Pulp Fiction could be a popular one, even if it's, you know, from the 80s or around there. So Pulp Fiction is with John Travolta, who maybe he might be he's very well known, but I'm not sure if everybody who's watching might know him, but he's a very well-known actor. Hold on, I'm drawing a blank about the name of one second.
Which drawing a blank in English means you're not remembering. You just like can't think of
when
something.
You just can't remember. So it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Okay,
from 1994, not the 80s. Whoops, 1994.
Yes.
And it's such a good movie. It's about mob hitmen, right, and a gangster, and you know, a bunch of violence and redemption and stuff like that. But it's so good. It's a major classic in American film. And Quentin Tarantino. So this is just a side note for everyone who's watching. Quentin Tarantino is an acquired taste. Yeah. And when we say that, we basically just mean not everyone likes the stuff he does. So basically there are people who really don't like him and there are people who love what he does. It's like it's the same, like, for example, if you don't like wine or, you know, if you don't like a special kind of wine, maybe some people love it and some people hate it. And wine is an acquired taste, right? Maybe some people don't like it. Yeah, so, totally. Yeah, so Pulp Fiction is it's just a staple in American film history. I think they have it on Netflix. Let me just double check. But that is one that, you know, is just, I kind of like Quentin Tarantino because it's just so bizarre. This stuff
he's definitely bizarre. He's very brave. He steps out of the box, which means he does something that's different. I'm starting to write in my next movie because I realized it is so long to write.
Oh my goodness. What is it? Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So it's on Netflix. So it's called The Berry and Potato Peel Pie Society.
That is so random.
I know. I know. But
Oh my
I
goodness.
loved this movie. It was so interesting to me.
Potato?
Um, oh, hi, Alejandro. My friend Alejandro's here. If you guys want, I will say
Oh.
hello to you if you tell me who you are, where you're from. So it is like a historical drama. So it's set in 1946. I had to take notes because it's been a little while since I watched it. But it's about a woman who's a writer in London, and it's post-war, post World War II.
Hmm.
And so she is exchanging letters with somebody from this society. It's like an island, the Guernsey Island. And then she decides that she wants to write a book. So she goes to this island, but she doesn't tell the people that she's actually there researching them.
Mm.
So, but she starts to fall for the guy that she was writing letters to. So it's like a bit of romance, a bit of like mystery. And I just found it really entertaining, really, really well made. So I would
Yeah.
recommend it.
I see it here on Netflix. I see it here.
Yeah,
So very,
yeah.
very unique choice,
Yes,
right?
and I believe it's based on a book as well. Many
Right.
movies become books, many
Yes.
shows become books. So,
Yes, and when they
yeah.
become books or when the books become shows or movies, they are called adaptations.
I did not know that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Great
really?
Adaptations. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So when a book or a movie becomes when a book becomes a movie or a show, it's an adaptation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, great. Let me look at my list.
Yes.
Another this is like one of my favorites. It's
Yes.
Father of the Bride.
Oh my gosh, yes. Love this movie. Marika asked what kind of movies I like, and I love this kind of movie. Romantic comedy.
Yes.
Father of the Bride. They have like what? How many of those now? Like 3 at least?
They have I don't remember if they have a third one. They definitely have a second and a first.
Mm-hmm.
And Father of the Bride, oh my goodness. It's so sweet because it's about just a family
Yeah.
and the daughter gets engaged at like
Yes.
20.
Yes,
And the
super
father
young.
is just freaking out because he's losing his daughter to that she's getting married, and it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of a feel good movie.
Yes, which I love that term. I was thinking feel good movie. We use that all the time. We say feel good movie, and that means you literally feel good when you watch it. It makes you happy. It usually has a good ending. So it's a very common American expression to
Yes.
describe a movie.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not too difficult to follow. Like the
Yes.
storyline,
Mhm,
it's easy
mhm.
to understand. It's easy to relate to, which is also very important if you're watching movies or if you're reading a
Yeah.
book. It's something
Mhm.
that should be something that you're relating to or that you enjoy, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
definitely this is kind of a family movie.
Mhm,
Definitely
yeah.
a family movie, and if you can relate to that kind of thing,
Yes,
then or if
yeah.
you just kind of like feel good movies, then it's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, totally.
So.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Rodolfo. We're so glad that you guys are here. Thank you. Okay, so the next movie that I would say on my list, okay, so it's called A California Christmas, and it came out this Christmas. I know, it sounds cheesy, but okay, so when you say the word cheesy, it means kind of like, how would you describe cheesy? Kind of
Cheesy is kind of
silly.
like not it's not exactly awkward. It's just I don't know, because all that I think of is corny. But cheesy is kind of something that you would expect to happens, and it's very predictable.
Yeah, it's pretty
Probably.
predictable. So I like Christmas movies, especially Christmas time. And the really cool thing about this movie is that the actress and the actor, the two main roles, they are actually married in real life. And they did a great job together in the film. And so it's about this guy who's super wealthy and he's kind of lazy. He doesn't really work, but his mom has this like high up company where they buy real estate. And so his mom says, "Hey son, like if you want to keep like your job and keep part of the money of this family, you have to go buy this farm." And the girl is the main lead is the owner of the farm. They don't have money. Her dad died. She does not want to sell the farm. So the guy goes to the farm and he sees the girl and he's like, oh, like they think that he's there to help, to work. So he actually pretends like I'm here to work, not I'm here to buy your farm and take over. But then they start falling for each other, which means they start like liking each other.
Right.
And then he's afraid to tell her that he's actually there to buy the farm. So it's a romance, it's a bit of drama, but it's really heartfelt and a feel-good movie as well. And I love the magic of Christmas movies with just the lights and the trees.
Yes.
And I mean, Americans love Christmas, and so they're always super fun.
Well, then I need to add my Christmas movie.
What is it? What is it?
Okay, mine. Well, I have a few because I'm one of those, like, we need to decorate and we need to watch, like, every day.
Yes.
So it's called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Classic again, girl.
It's a classic. It is so funny.
Yes.
It's with Chevy Chase. I feel like I just so so like I said, I'm like a 90s kid. So I kind of was a 90s kid, and I think I just stuck in that time frame, and then I just didn't evolve. So I kind of
stayed in the 90s.
I'm just kind of stuck in there, when I think about actors, I think about Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Al Pacino,
all of the classics from the 90s.
Eddie Murphy, so that's where my head kind of goes when I think about movies. But National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is so funny.
Yes,
it's
agree.
Just complete, just slapstick satire. Just it's hilarious. So if you're looking for like a holiday movie to watch that's so funny, but that you want to practice, it's probably upper intermediate to advanced.
I would say so
for English practice, but it's just so funny.
Totally.
So now that we mentioned Christmas movies,
yes,
yes,
I will talk about one more movie, and you can as well, and then we can move on to books. And I see our friend Nursberg is here. Hola.
Oh, hi.
Oh, I'm so torn because my last a couple of movies are both so good. I don't know which one to say, but I'm gonna say one that's a trilogy, which means there's 3 of them.
Yes.
So I actually watched the last one last night because they come out every Valentine's Day, and they're called To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Oh my God. I never saw it, and I'm so on the fence because I don't know. I know it's super popular, and I'm just very excited to hear about what it is about.
Yes. So, To All the Boys I Loved Before, 1, 2, 3. So, the original story is about a girl who had written 5 love letters to her crushes, which means the people that she liked. But she never planned on sending these letters. But they get sent. Somehow, I'm not going to give it away, but the letters get sent. So the movie shows the reactions of the boys, what they're thinking, and then it goes on. Yeah, one of the boys ends up with her, and then there's a second, and then even a third. They're very heartwarming. The actress, I can't remember, her name in the movie is Lotta Jean. She's just so adorable. She's just so sweet, and I just really liked these movies. I got Calvin to watch it with me last night, and I was like, "Hun, what did you think of the movie?" He's like, "It was nice to watch it with you," but it wouldn't be one that he would choose as a guy to watch, you know? So, we call these kind of movies chick flicks. So,
chick flicks.
Yeah, chick flicks.
So it's a total chick flick. So that's kind of, typical. I mean, anybody can watch it, obviously, but chick flicks, the term is derived from just, ladies watching these movies. With your girlfriends.
Yeah, it does happen. Girlfriends getting together to watch chick flicks. Sometimes we'll do a marathon where we watch 3 chick flicks, we eat ice cream, cookie dough. You see it in the movies, but it actually does happen. Wine. Yeah. It's super fun.
Totally.
Super fun.
Yes.
Totally. Do you have one last movie you want to talk about before we go into books? Okay.
Yes. I have a few, but if I have to choose the most important one that everyone should watch, which probably many have watched, is the Godfather trilogy.
Oh, another trilogy, yes.
Yes, it is essential for everyone watching because, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and the Godfather... I used to have a poster of The Godfather that went from the end of my wall to here, and he was sitting like this, judging everyone who came in. The Godfather, it's Al Pacino's breakout movie. So when we say that, right, that's the movie that made him famous.
Yes.
and it's it's just mafia stuff, like Italian mafia in the early 20th century coming to the United States, all that.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
so good. It's my favorite movie. And there's a part 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You have to watch all of it. Not for
Yes.
even English practice, just because I said it. So
Yes, go watch it, you guys.
you gotta watch The Godfather. So
Yes.
it's just, I mean, if anybody has watched it, I'm curious to see if anyone has.
Yeah, totally. Write in the comments if you've seen The Godfather, if you've seen any of these things we've been talking about. We're curious, or if you've seen something that you want to share that's a good resource to watch that you really enjoyed, feel free to write in the comments. So you guys, we're going to move into books. And I only have a few children's books because I think most people here that are watching are probably more advanced. But I did want to talk about 2 children's series that are super great books. I read them to my kids. One would be the Peppa Pig books. And look, I even have it in Portuguese. I even have some that I bought in Lisbon because they're adorable. And they're if you're just learning English, if you don't know much English, you can just take children's books and read them.
Of course. Yeah. Just have fun with it.
Totally. So the funny thing about the Peppa Pig books, though, is that they're based out of England. So my daughter started being like, Mom, there's a bird in the garden. And we don't say garden in America. We say yard. So there's some of the British English vocabulary in these books, which is so funny. But I think they're super adorable. The only other one I wanted to talk about, these are like my books from when I was a kid. Like my mom gave me these. But have you heard of the Berenstain Bear books?
Of course. Yeah.
So these always have like good lessons. Sorry. Okay. So Berenstain Bear books, super famous. I'll write down the name of these as well. But they're just a bear family that lives in a tree. And it's the story of their life, Berenstain Bears. Okay. So, yeah, I really liked these books. I still read them to my kids. My kids ask me to read these and Peppa all the time. So I think if you're just starting out or if you're wanting to teach your children English, these series, the Peppa Pig books and the Berenstain Bear books, are great options. Yes. Do you happen to have any children's books that you wanted to talk about?
I do. Before we do that, I just have a quick question. So so it might be regional too. So in terms of garden, when your daughter referred to garden, did she refer to the back part of the house or the front part of the house?
It was actually the side.
The side of the house. Okay. Yeah, because in New York we say garden.
Oh, you do? Even for yard?
Yes.
No way.
So that because I grew up always saying garden. So that's why I was like, oh wait, maybe this is regional.
It must be regional because in Michigan, in Hawaii, in South Carolina, those are the only 3 places I've lived in America, and we only use yard.
That's interesting. Yeah, garden, because I think we don't. Yeah.
Garden only if you're growing vegetables in it, a vegetable garden.
Right. Yeah. Because if you have, for example, an area in the back that has, grass and you have flowers and stuff, we would refer to it as a garden. Yeah. So I think it might be regional too.
Okay. Maybe it
might be. Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah, it could be. Anyway, it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. My books are, classic books.
Yes.
So I have the Dr. Seuss.
Oh, books. Very much. Yes.
The Dr. Seuss books, which those are like, they're classics.
Did I spell that right?
Dr. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, the Dr. Seuss books are really great. Lots of pictures. Yeah. And what's good about them is also a lot of what is written in the Dr. Seuss books is rhyming. And when you're starting to learn English, rhyme is like, it's like you're not intentionally memorizing, but it gets absorbed, subconsciously when you're reading it and then rhyming, and then the words start being absorbed naturally. Yes, so that's why Dr. Seuss is really good, among many other reasons. And then of course the books that you recommended are really great, especially with pictures and stuff like that.
Yes.
Dr. Seuss is what I thought of, first right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bernstein Bears is, a
Classic as well. And I just wanted to talk about what rhyming means. So rhyme is like, I'll give you an example of a rhyme. I like to rhyme all the time. So rhyme and time have the same sound pattern, and so it's a rhyme.
Right.
Or there is a bed on my head. So bed, head. So you're rhyming.
Yes.
So Dr. Seuss books have a lot of that. So you learn a lot of vocabulary and words that rhyme as well. So sounds, to be really helpful with sounds.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. That's right.
I have some people saying that, yes, Paula, we'll share all of our resources written down after the live. And then Rodolfo says, my daughter prefers George more than Peppa. I think that's okay. They're both cute. And then Tommy.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I just thought of something. What about George and remember?
Curious George.
Curious George, there we go.
Curious George, the monkey books. We have a lot of those. Girl, I feel like we could do a 15-hour live with our book and movies. There's so many good ones. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Tommy, I'm not sure of your question. Who are you referring to when you say she? Does she know anything about raising kids using 2 languages, let's say English and Spanish?
Me?
I'm not sure.
Or you?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Because you don't have kids.
Babies, but I was raised like trilingual, but I didn't do the raising.
Yes. So I'm sure you have some knowledge though, just from
I do have a lot of knowledge because I used to teach babies. But if they can clarify who they're asking, that would be wonderful.
And I think we could actually, that's like a topic for a whole nother live, raising trilingual, bilingual kids. I think that would be great.
Yes.
Totally. Alejandro, he's wondering what books changed our lives, which I'm going to get to because those are on my book list. One quick thing I wanted to share with you guys. I've been reading these books called The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So they're hilarious. So Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I would say I'm reading them to my 7-year-old, but I like them. So I think that, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I'm just going to write it down so you guys can see. I think they're great books to improve your English. So they're written like, I'll show you guys, like a diary entry.
Yeah, cute.
And they also have pictures. And the main character is so funny. This writer is brilliant. So there's actually a lot of like American expressions used in here, phrasal verbs. So I think you could learn a lot, but not feel like your brain is so tired because of the way that it's written. Yeah. So I think these could be great for intermediate English learners. So I would really recommend them.
Right. Yeah. In terms of that question that was asked, books that changed our lives in what way?
I think maybe just like we were really impacted by the book.
Impacted? There's a few that I have because I do read a lot. There's a book called Elsewhere. If anybody, are you familiar with the book Elsewhere? So
do you know who it's by chance?
Yeah, Elsewhere is by Gabrielle Zavin. So
Gabrielle's a girl. Gabrielle.
Yes. So Gabrielle.
Do you know how to spell her last name?
Right, Zavin.
Okay.
And it's a young adult novel, but it's about like the afterlife and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So the way it's written is it just kind of follows a girl who just recently died from an accident, and she's trying to make sense of the afterlife and going through that. But it's very interesting the way that they kind of put it together. So I think that's a very interesting book. And then also there's a Khalil Gibran, who's he was a Lebanese writer. So Lebanese.
You need to spell that one for me, girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can send me your list after and I'll write it all. I'll link all the channels, everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
great.
he basically wrote a book that it's The Prophet. It's just kind of a bunch of morals and stuff that were written in kind of small chunks. about,
Okay.
I don't really know how to explain this. It's just kind of like a book about morality and
Okay. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting. Those are two
Yeah.
books that I think are very
That's good.
impactful that
That's good.
could be interesting. But
Namaste, Gaurav. Hey guys, thank you for being
namaste.
here. We have been talking for the last 45 minutes, our favorite series we did, our favorite movies, and we're now talking about books. So it's been super fun. I want to talk about this book right here. I'm glad that I have all my books with me so I can show you guys. So he is my friend, and he was imprisoned in Iran
Oh
for
my goodness.
9 weeks. He was beaten every day. They thought he was a spy. They thought he was a spy. So he had lived in Afghanistan for 10 years, and he ended up being in prison. He almost committed suicide in prison because he didn't know when he would get out. But the crazy thing is he could understand the guards because he spoke Farsi. He's American. He has an American and a Swiss passport. My friend Dan. We
Wow.
actually did a series on my channel. It's an ongoing faith series. And so God
Oh,
really saved his life.
I've seen
And
it. Yeah.
he's now speaks all around the world, and he is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead, and Marika read this book as well. She was really impacted by it. Cell 58, Dan. Sorry, I should have put it up at the beginning. Dan Bauman. He's also written 2 other books, which are both amazing. And I feel like these reads are easy. Like, you just want to read it because it's so interesting and the level isn't so advanced. So I think an intermediate English learner could definitely understand these books.
Right.
So
And that book would be available
it's
on.
available on Amazon. I can actually put the links to our books as well, so that way
cool.
people can
Yeah.
access them if they want to do audiobook. Maybe that's an option sometimes too.
Yeah.
An ebook as well if it can't be shipped. It's so expensive. I've bought books from, where did I buy? Oh, like from Europe, and it costs like $20 to ship it over,
Yeah.
So it's expensive.
Super expensive.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
What about you? Do you have another book?
Well, what I have that's interesting is I have resources that provide free novels and free short stories.
Awesome.
So the first one is Gutenberg.org.
Oh, girl.
So Gutenberg.
.com.
.org.
Okay.
So if you cannot find that directly with the link, just put it in Google and then it'll bring you there.
Amazing.
That's for free novels and short stories. It's all PDFs. And then AmericanLiterature.com has all kinds of American literature short stories that you can find for free online.
That's amazing.
So,
free resources, you guys, for books. And you can learn so much with books. Books are a great tool to improve your English.
Exactly, yes. And then, one of my favorite authors is J.D. Salinger. So that, his books and short stories they're more for advanced, intermediate to advanced, most definitely. But very classic American author. A lot about early 20th century the struggles that people faced with going to the military during World War II and the residual effects of that, even for women and then men, and it's just a bunch of that stuff. So it's very interesting. And then of course F. Scott Fitzgerald, so The Great Gatsby, all kinds of books like that. So those are very good too, but definitely advanced, intermediate to advanced.
What would you say about the Chronicles of Narnia? Like, is that advanced?
Chronicles of Narnia could probably be at an intermediate, lower intermediate.
I think so,
intermediate
because
level.
I have that here, you guys. I actually have the book with me to show you. It is literally like dirty from my kids, but 7 books in one. So there's 7 books to the Chronicles of Narnia series, and it's fantasy. So it's about kids that live in the real world that are transported to Narnia, which is this that's not a real world, so it's all fantasy. Animals talk. There's good versus evil, but there's a lot of good like morals and lessons that can come out of these books. So
Yes.
I remember reading these books. I was like, Camille, these are classics. You need to read them. I don't read classics that often.
Right.
So we happened to be living in Spain, and I got all of the ebooks of these, and I read them one after another, and I was like, wow. These are good. These are good books.
Right.
So I would recommend the Chronicles of Narnia as well. And then, Calvin commented there's also a movie series with that as well, which he's right.
Right. So the movie series is also something good to practice with, I think.
Totally. And do you have any other books you wanted to talk about before we move into YouTube channels?
No, not really. I mean, Roald Dahl books are very good. Neil Gaiman. Yeah.
You're gonna have to send me all the names. And some links so I can write them. Yes.
I will do that. Yeah.
Totally. Tell us about some books which contain motivation. Oh, girl, I'm about to do that with my next book. Just writing the name. Okay, so this book is a new book. I really like motivational books, self-help type books, people's stories type books. So this book I just finished. Do It Afraid, The Lion on the Cover, Joyce Meyer. So she's a Christian author, but she goes into this book and talks about what are our fears? Why do we have our fears? So it goes kind of into the mind and what we believe and what we think and how to overcome the mind to be able to do things that we're afraid of,
Right.
So this book really, really helped me even overcome some of my own fears by just being able to identify things that I was believing that weren't even true, So I would highly recommend that book. The last book I want to talk about, which I will write it in, The Magnolia Story. Have you read that?
Sounds familiar.
Chip and Joanna Gaines. So they had the TV show called Fixer Upper. They became super famous here in America. They don't have their TV show, but they now have a product line in Target. They have written multiple books. She's written children's books. And this book is the story of their struggles and their pain and their hardships. They have 5 kids and then just their rise to success. So it kind of, it's vulnerable, and I thought it was a great story, an easy read. I would say it would be definitely an intermediate level. So I love hearing about people, which is why I also like doing lives with people and interviewing them. So
for sure,
books like this, I love them because I get to discover new people, learn about them, and so it's a lot of fun.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
good. That's good, you guys. Okay, let's move into our favorite YouTube channels. This time has been flying, Pamina. It's like coming up on an hour. Thank you guys for hanging out, for stopping in.
Totally.
So you divided up your YouTube channels, right? Into
categories.
Categories.
Yes.
Totally.
So, do you want me to go first or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my thing is always that I tell my students, if you're going to read something, watch something anywhere, it has to be something you're interested in.
Yeah.
So, what I recommend is I have different categories for different kinds of YouTubers that I watch that might be interesting to you guys. So, for example, there is a YouTuber I have been following for years. She is a travel vlogger.
Oh, fun.
She got married. She's having a baby. So now she's not traveling that much anymore. Yeah. But she just announced it a few days ago. But she just traveled everywhere. She's been all over the place. Very wholesome, very down to earth. Just her and her camera and just, going places. She's super successful. It's just really amazing. So her name is Hey Nadine. Hey Nadine.
Heanadine.
Oh no, so Hey, hey, and then Nadine, right?
Yes.
So so Hey Nadine. So she's super nice. She is from Canada, I believe. I think she's from Canada.
Okay. Yeah.
I can double check that. but she just travels all over the place, and she is just really interesting to watch. So for travel,
That's cool.
I
That's
recommend
good.
Nadine. And then, do you want me to just go down the list of all of the ones that I have?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or do you want to go back and forth? We could go back and forth.
sure. If you want me to
Yeah.
do that too,
Yeah.
sure, sure,
So
sure.
I wanted to talk about, I do have some channels that are for super beginners in English.
Yes.
And so one of them is called Book Box Inc. So
Oh.
what I have actually used this for other languages, but if you go to this channel, it's short stories with the subtitles. So they're all under 10 minutes. And so you can go there, you can listen to a story in English, and then you can read the subtitles as well. So it's a great place for beginners. So I think it's a good one. And then my kids really love Blippi. Have you heard of Blippi?
Oh, Blippi.
He's like famous. He's so famous.
Oh my God,
But
really? Oh my God.
he basically teaches kids interactively. So if you're trying to teach your kids English, just put Blippi on. He spells out words. I think Maddox learned how to spell Blippi before he learned how to spell his own name.
Wow.
Because he'd always be like, Blippi, you know. So he can get a little bit obnoxious or annoying, but it's a great show for beginners, for children, if you're wanting to improve your English. And I think those are the main two like beginner or kid type channels that I have.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay,
Yes.
great. My next one is very interesting. So this is a medical
Okay,
YouTube
medical
channel.
Yeah.
So,
What's it called? I'll type it in the chat.
Yes. So it's called Violin MD.
Okay.
So she is also from Canada,
Okay.
ironically. So she's a doctor from Canada, and she works in hospitals. And she does this in a very interactive way where she vlogs her day at the hospital.
Whoa.
And she explains ailments, and she also was a violinist. So she kind of opens up her video with her playing the violin, and then she explains, what are we doing today? We have code blue. What is code blue? And then she kind of goes through how she gets pages throughout the day, and 24 38-hour shifts, and it's really crazy.
Wow.
So if you are interested even in studying medicine, or if not, and you just kind of want to watch, like me, I have nothing, I don't know anything about the medical field, but she's so nice. She's super, friendly and down to earth, very wholesome,
So
I'm very big on the wholesome thing.
Yes.
So she's super fun to watch. And I think what's really good about it also is that I followed her for so many years, and even since the beginning, she's just kind of stayed the same. So I think that's very cool and important. And I can say the same about Hey Nadine too. So they're really, really cool to follow. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you heard about Nathaniel Drew?
No, who's that?
Okay, so he's a pretty big YouTuber. Like, he has over 1 million subscribers. And he does, so his thing is living a better life. So how can you live a better life in the 21st century? He's a polyglot. I think he speaks 5 languages.
Wow.
And so he does some videos in other languages as well, which is how I originally found him. He is American, but I believe his mother is Argentinian, and he is living in Paris.
Wow,
so
my goodness.
He's a storyteller. So his YouTube videos are incredible. They tell a story. You kind of get transported into it. The cinematography is unbelievable.
Wow.
So I would highly recommend learning with him. He usually has subtitles on his channel as well, which can be super helpful. And he's just interesting. He's really interesting.
That's really great. That's really great. Yeah. I think that's also really helpful, just kind of like when you're, being introspective and trying to, figure different things out and
totally
kind of explore different things. So that's really good. That's really good.
Yes.
My next one is, so this kind of depends if someone is interested in beauty and stuff like that.
Yes.
But this is actually a very she's kind of like, she's been there for maybe 12 years in the YouTube community.
Wow.
But her name is, you might know her. Her name is Michelle Phan.
I don't. How do you spell her last name?
Phan.
Phan.
So
Okay.
so I remember when I was in high school, I would watch her just nonstop. Just
Yeah.
she's like the classic. So this is a good expression that we can introduce for everyone. She's the OG of, the beauty community. So she's just
Yeah.
like it's like the original gangster. So it means she's just like the classic. She's one of the main YouTubers in the beauty community who really put down, what would you say, like put down the flag or put down,
Yeah,
roots
pioneered
for
it, made a
pioneered, right.
way.
So she really pioneered the beauty industry on
Yeah.
YouTube, and she's just very. I really like her a lot because she's just it's just very calming to watch her videos.
Yeah.
And it's just, you go to her channel, you watch for beauty, and then, you take away what you want from it. And then there's, no drama, and there's no, nothing insane happens. So,
Totally.
and she's so innovative, and, she also is interested in technology. She's interested in so many different things. So
Wow.
it's really interesting, the stuff she brings forward, not just beauty, but new technology, stuff that's coming out. And she's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
That's
So.
cool. My friend Alejandro said, "Learn English with Camille is my favorite." Thank you.
So cute.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
guys. Karen, he said, name someone who does inspirational content. Is anyone coming to your mind that does inspirational
I
content?
mean, I know someone who does, but it's not really inspirational in the sense of, we're going to discuss meditation or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah,
kind of what the question is, but I
yeah.
have a lifestyle blogger. Her name is Kelly Stamps,
Okay,
and she,
Kellylys
right,
Yes.
STAMPS. She's
Okay.
she's very funny, and she's
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
sarcastic, and she kind
Okay.
of gets to the point. And
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
talks about, she had a video a few days ago or weeks ago where she talked about, for example, the whole video was based on, don't tell people your business, because when you
Mm.
don't tell people your business, you're free to build, your
Mm-hmm.
success
Mm-hmm.
without too many voices and
Yeah.
too many opinions and
Yeah.
too many, she talks about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then she also
Mm-hmm.
makes funny videos where, she's like dancing, and like it's just
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
always talks about that. She even talks, she's super helpful because she even gives advice about, growing YouTube channels. She talks about
Yeah.
living a minimalist life,
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
minimalistic
Yeah.
lifestyle. And she talks about
Mm-hmm.
like how
Mm-hmm.
my minimalistic lifestyle changed my life, and
Mm-hmm.
how it is to live a minimalistic lifestyle. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Another channel that's so good, which
Mm-hmm.
I have to find right now. So it might make sense if you suggest your next
Yeah.
one while I look
Yeah,
for this one.
totally.
But
So Marika, my friend Jess Hover actually has a channel and it is inspirational, but it's also very based towards parenting as well. So she
oh,
gives a lot of like parenting tips and her real life. Like she's so real in her videos.
right.
So I would say she's a great channel. I also wanted to recommend TED Talks.
Oh,
So
I had that one too.
yeah, I just think they're amazing. You can learn so much with TED Talks because there's hundreds of videos. So you get to hear so many different accents, so many different topics. You
Mm-hmm.
can really just
Yes.
search TED Talks languages and you'll find a whole
Yes.
bunch of videos, or
Mm-hmm.
TED Talks inspiration and you'll find a whole bunch of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a
Yes.
great channel for learning. Sometimes there's subtitles and there's other also TED Talks in other languages, which is fun. So,
And yes, and what I recommend specifically with TED Talks is also, if you're a beginner, just watch the 2 3 minute TED Talks. Don't watch the 20 30 minute
yeah,
hour
that's a
TED
good
Talks.
a good
Yeah,
tip.
just the
Yeah.
short ones. The short ones are
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
I found the YouTuber. The
Okay.
YouTuber's name. She's really cool. Her name is Janelle, Jennelle. Eliana,
Sorry, girl, you
Eliana.
lost me with
Sorry.
Janelle. I know. I was like, wait,
So
what was it? J
one more
E.
time.
Okay, let's do it again. Let's do
So
it again.
all right,
Uh huh.
JENNELLE,
Okay.
and then ELIANA.
Okay, got it.
So this girl, she blew up from like one day to the next. It was insane.
Wow.
She lives in a van. Like her
Mm-mm.
house is a van. It's like van living, which is like a thing. And,
Wow.
you know, there are
Wow.
people who like live in van. She
Yeah.
like decks out her van. She lives with a tiny snake.
Crazy.
It's like so funny. Like she just like she is so free spirited, and it's just the
Yeah.
cutest thing.
Yeah.
And you know, she talks about, you know, how I spend my money, and then she talks
Mm-hmm.
about like random stories. You know, she gives, you know, random
Yeah.
story times, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm looking right now at her channel about what other things she talks about. Yeah, just story times, showing how she prepares her van, how she
Yeah.
redecorates it, living with a tiny snake. Like it's just like
Oh
so
my
funny.
gosh. She seems like she has definitely a free spirit, like you said. Just kind of
Total free spirit,
wow.
super friendly, like super funny.
Yeah.
And but it was insane because she just blew up overnight. It was so
Wow.
crazy.
Blew up. When we say blew up, it means she became very popular.
Yes, like in an instant.
Wow.
But I really do like her. She's very she's just in somebody who's really fun to watch because she relates to the audience very well, and it's just kind of more lifestyle vlogger type.
There was a question if we have any good talk show that we would recommend.
On TV or on YouTube?
I think either could be helpful. Do you have any? I only can think of The View as a talk show.
Me too. I literally just thought of The View.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and write it. It's 4 women. They talk about day-to-day things. It is interesting, The View.
I mean, there are podcasts that go directly on YouTube. It depends on what exactly you're looking for in a you know, in a talk show, because
that's true.
So many different ones.
That's true. Different subjects, different. That's a
because
good point.
You know, if you talk about, you know, American talk shows that are, for example, on TV, you have stuff like, you know, Conan O'Brien and stuff like that. So those are definitely good for practicing, you know, your speaking and your listening, because you have complete, you know, American slang and all of that. That's used.
I would say as well that talk shows would be for advanced levels. So to get you maybe from intermediate to advanced, because there's so many people. Sometimes they're talking over one another really fast. So,
and very quickly. Everybody speaks quickly. But the one thing I want to mention, even for beginner learners, is even if it's tricky and difficult, just listen to it. Just listen to it. Put the subtitles, listen to it, even if it makes no sense. Just listen to it, because then you're training your ear to at least understand the intonation and the sounds of the language, right?
It's really good. It's really good.
So I think somebody commented.
Oh, any of you have a podcast on Spotify? I do not, but I did do you know?
I'm in like the process of working on something.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think you'd be really good.
Of working on it, but I'm not like nearly done.
Yeah, because it's a whole other project. Doing a podcast, it's like doing a YouTube channel. You know, a lot of work's involved, but it's great for sure. Speaking of podcasts, we wanted just to recommend, I think, 2 podcasts that we both listen to that are in English. You guys know that most of the things I watch, listen to, and read are in other languages because I'm trying to learn, you know, and keep up on my languages. So these are, though, 2 podcasts that I will listen to on a regular basis. One of them is called Home with Havilah, and she is just amazing. So she's an American. She does speak pretty fast, so you might need to adjust the speed when you're listening to her. But she goes after just real raw topics, you know, in the day-to-day, in life, in parenting, in marriage. And I really enjoy her. And so she's one. And then the other one I listen to, Marika always sends me Elevation Church podcasts, which they're also on YouTube. And so I think learning with church, learning with sermons, podcasts about God are also a great way. So I like his Stephen Furtick Elevation Church. So those are the two that I would recommend as far as podcasts. Do you have any?
Yes, I have. So one of my podcasts is called Serial. It's Serial, right? So Serial is a very fun podcast because it has 3 seasons right now, and the first season goes. It's about a high school senior, and I believe she was murdered, and her boyfriend is in jail, and it kind of goes back and forth between, did he kill her? Did he not kill her? That's kind of what the whole season goes through.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast just flies by. You just kind of feel like, oh my God, I'm on episode 12 and I didn't even realize that.
How long are the episodes? Do you know?
I'm checking it right now. I think the episodes are probably about 45 minutes, I think.
Okay,
I'm not too sure. Let me check. If I
So
can
that's cool because it's like is it like a book then almost?
It's almost like a book, but it's
Okay,
it's just kind of the narrator, I believe that she did research on, everything that she kind of presents, and it's very interesting because you're really sucked into it, and then you really you get into, did he do it? Did he not do it? And there's a bunch of interviews with him. There's a bunch of interviews with other people. Now they have 3 seasons.
Okay.
So the second season is about something else that has to do with U.S. Special Operations and Black Hawk. And then the third one, I'm not too sure. But it's very interesting. I definitely would recommend it if you're into that kind of mystery murder stuff. And then I have another podcast that is very interesting. It's called Welcome to Night Vale.
Okay.
So Welcome to Night Vale is super fun because it's basically a podcast that gives, the news, the weather, local news information, but it's a fictional town.
Okay.
So for everyone, right, a fictional town is a town that just does not exist. So it's kind of just a fun thing. It's just kind of, the podcasters are talking about a place that doesn't exist as if it exists with this is the weather, this is what happened, this
so
is this,
interesting.
So it's super fun. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Wow. You guys, I'm feeling tired. Like we talked about so many resources. The one thing I'm like, no, I forgot to mention this, but we were talking about like finding things that you like to learn, and something out of the box to learn with or different is cookbooks. So I just wanted to really quick talk about a cookbook because you can learn so many terms about like in the kitchen, measuring cups, measuring spoons. You learn so many things, and then you learn so many food ingredients. So I find for me with learning other languages, I'm always forgetting the food. What do you call something? So with cookbooks, if you use cookbooks, it's a great way. Plus, you get to try fun recipes. So cookbooks are a great way. This is my latest cookbook. It's actually a vegan cookbook, which means plant-based. There's no meat in this cookbook. I'm not a vegan, but I try to eat plant-based a lot. But like, look how beautiful her...
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah.
What's that one? That's carrots with what is on?
Yeah. So this one is called Apple Honey Sriracha Roasted Rainbow Carrots with cashew cream. I know.
I think I need that.
But like all of her photos like are just beautiful in her book, and I have made probably 15 or 20 things since Christmas.
Wow,
and
that's really amazing.
One of them has been super good. So Oh She Glows for Dinner, Angela Liddon.
What a cute name for
I know.
a cookbook.
I know. So when I saw this, I'm like, no, I have to talk about it. Backtrack to books. But we seriously, and maybe, because it's lunchtime here now, too. Yes. It's 12 o'clock, so we're not going to go on our food tangent, Pamina, like we always do.
We need to eat. Yes. Everybody needs to eat. I think if you're from Brazil, you also, you probably ate already, or maybe not. I don't know. But everybody needs to eat something.
So I feel like we gave them a huge selection of books, movies, podcasts, series. You guys, you are not going to be lacking content.
Right.
And so I encourage you guys to find what's interesting to you, use subtitles, enjoy it, and just keep learning and growing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Do you have
Yes.
any last minute words, Pamina? This has been so fun. Thank you. Thank you for taking
Oh
your
no,
time
thank you
to
for
do
having
this.
me.
Yes.
So if anybody is interested on my Instagram on Friday, I'm going to have with Sada, right? So
Yeah, our Italian
Sada,
friend.
yes, she's an Italian high school teacher, I believe, and she's going
Yes.
to we're going to have a live on Friday at
That's
10 a.m.
awesome.
Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be practicing my Italian skills during the live.
Yay! That's
Italian and English.
amazing.
So if
That's
anybody is
amazing.
interested, Italian and
Totally.
English, right?
Totally. Yeah.
You can join in on the live and
Mm-hmm.
have a look.
Yeah.
So.
If you're not already subscribed to our channels, please do so. Follow us on Instagram. We continue to try to put out interesting content. I'll be doing my next live on Sunday. It's actually going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that way, all across the world, like China, India, can participate because I'm going to be doing a crazy live with at least 5 people from around the world, talking to them and teaching at the same time. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy, I think. We're bringing in like another camera because I'm going to be making calls with these people on my phone, but we're going to be live on my channel at the same time. So we're not sure how it's going to work, but I think it'll be fun. So
I think it'll be good, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you guys all for watching, for being here. Thank you so much, Pamina. You're amazing. It's always a joy. And we will see you guys in our next live. Pamina and I plan on doing lives, so we'll have to come up with the next topic and get back to you guys. Yes, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you. Bye.